Getting rid of old medication isn't as easy as tossing them in the trash. Metro tells us a safe and responsible way to get rid of it.
This is Fox 5 News at 10, local Las Vegas.
Time to ditch those old drugs. We're talking about what's in your medicine cabinet. Families got a chance to chuck their old medications the safe way. Fox 5's Colleen joins us live with more on today's big drug collection. Colleen?
Stephanie, hundreds of pounds of pills were collected today in an effort to teach Valley residents how to clean out their cabinets the correct way. Now, the event also raised awareness on how drugs can be misusing and abusing. Over 200 cars filled with Valley residents dropped off hundreds of pounds of drugs today.
We're now seeing prescription drugs being the leading cause of drug overdose deaths.
Metro, the coroner's office, and the Water Authority teamed up to teach the town about safe drug disposal. Metro says they strive to keep drugs out of the wrong hands.
Teenagers that are going into those medicine cabinets, retrieving those prescriptions that people aren't paying attention to because they're not using them anymore, and they're using them. They're experimenting with them.
The sheriff says combating illegal drugs is not the only problem anymore.
Prescription drugs is the same. They get hooked on them, and then they break into homes. They commit robberies.
From allergy pills to cough syrup, Operation Medicine Cabinet accepted any drug residents had to offer. The goal? To help residents realize that dumping drugs down the drain can contaminate our water supply.
Granted, it may be just a very small or trace amount, but we can avoid that by proper disposal.
So here's how you can dispose of your drugs. First, find expired drugs or drugs you no longer use. Dump solid medicine into a plastic bag and crush it with a heavy object. Then mix that medicine with an absorbent substance like coffee grounds or sawdust. Finally, seal the bag and discard it in the trash. Deborah Meldrum is doing her job to be a part of the solution and not the problem.
I didn't want to put the medication in the trash and let some child pick it up and take it accidentally.
Now, if you plan to dispose of your medication in the correct way, be sure to remove all personal identification from those prescription drug containers. Also, if you have any questions, Metro says don't hesitate to call them or your pharmacist. Live at Blue Diamond and the 15, Colleen Ferreira, Fox 5 News, local Las Vegas.
Yeah, definitely don't go throwing it down the drain, Colleen. Thank you so much. Now, authorities say all of the prescription medications that were collected today are impounded and safely destroyed. Well, those prescription bottles with leftover medication, they've got to go somewhere, right? But it's not down your kitchen sink.
It's time to clean out your medicine cabinets in the correct way. I'm Colleen Ferreira. Details coming up in a live report.
We all have old medication lying around that we used at one time. When you're not feeling too hot, you go down to the pharmacy and pick it up. Well, sometimes those idle drugs could pose a problem to the community. Disposing drugs safely and correctly has been a nationwide problem for years. Today, Metro teamed up with the Water Authority and the coroner's office to teach us how we can properly dispose of all these medications. Fox 5's Colleen Ferreira joins us live with more on how all of this went today. Colleen?
Yes, Stephanie, it's called Operation Medicine Cabinet. Now, 8 hours and over 500 pounds of drugs later, well, the event proved to be quite a success. Pounds of pills were collected from over 200 cars that stopped by anonymously to hand off their old or unused medicine. Metro was out in full swing to raise awareness of the growing prescription drug problem. Authorities say having idle medication just lying around the house leaves children, teens, and drug users an open door for disaster.
Teenagers that are going into those medicine cabinets, retrieving those prescriptions that people aren't paying attention to because they're not using them anymore, and they're using them. They're experimenting with them.
Metro tells us prescription drug use for pleasure is more of a problem than illegal drug use they've been trying to combat for years. Experts say a simple solution to ditching drugs correctly is to avoid dumping them down the drain. Emptying pills down the sink may cause water contamination. Now, Metro says if you didn't have a chance to make it out to the event today, it's okay. Don't hesitate to call them for advice on how to properly dispose your drugs, and you can always visit your pharmacy. Reporting live, I'm Colleen Ferreira, Fox 5 News, local Las Vegas.
All right, Colleen, thank you so much. Now, Metro says all of the drugs that were collected today are immediately impounded and safely disposed under their watchful eye.